The leadership in the ghetto was the Jewish Council, the Judenrat, but the underground leadership was in the hand of the young people, as I said, of the youth organization. And they formed the so-called Fighters Organization. And this was in 1942. The deportation started the 22nd of July, 1942. And then representatives of youth organizations got together and something has to be done. And really, I would say, in October 1942, the organization came to life. An understanding came that some actions in preparing the youth, if another deportation starts, that a response should be in an organized way. We didn't have any arms. I belonged to the first group of the so-called Fighters Organization. We didn't have any arms at that time. It was a need to get armed. It was a need to prepare ourselves. And in December 1942, they turned to me, it was the Bundesjud group, that because I look like a Polish girl, there are a few others on the other side of the wall, or the other side of the ghetto wall, to get out and to walk in the underground on the Polish side, to try to prepare to buy on the black market guns, whatever is possible, and also to prepare some hiding places for children, if it's possible there, to find out. And this is how I got out of the ghetto. And I recall it was a big meeting in November 1942 from the youth group of the Bund, and they were talking at that time about the organization which was formed, the Jewish Fighters Organization, in the involvement in our responsibility that when the Germans will come to take us out from the shops, to stand up, not to go, whatever it is, to give a resistance. And at that time, each of us got some assignment. I didn't get any assignment, and I felt very low that the only person, it was a group of 28 or 29 people, young people, and I felt really bad. But when everybody already started to disperse, the leader was at that time of this group, Abrasha Blum, came over to me and told me that your assignment will be different, that you will not remain in the ghetto. Somebody will come and give you some information later on, and you will get out of the ghetto. And the assignment will be on the other side of the ghetto to do the utmost for the Fighters Organization. And this was my assignment, how I got involved in the Fighters Organization.
Then, when the organization of the uprising started, my function was to go after curfew and paste the posters calling the Jews to armed rebellion on the walls of the buildings. My father, of course, was, he didn't know what I was doing, but when I was coming home after the curfew, it was a terrible thing. They were terribly, terribly worried.
What was it like? How could you maneuver yourself without being caught?
You were streetwise. There were patrols, but it was dark, and we knew the streets. And we're going through the valleys, through the backyards, risking our lives, but we were young, and one was going with a bucket and the brush to paste the wall, and the other one was running with the roll of posters and clipping them. It was fun. It was. We were too young, I think, to realize how dangerous it really was. It was a kind of a sport.
What did it mean to
Oh, I was adamant that the order of the day from Hashomer Hatzair was that we are not going to be taken alive. You know, we are not going to be allowed to take on the transports. And I was all hyped up with it. I knew that this is exactly what I'm going to do. We are not going to go just like that. So there was just a conviction. We are just not going.
Adam, when did you get in contact with the resistance organization?
In about March, middle of March in 1943, I and two of friends of mine that we stuck together got in contact with or met with some of the fighters of the ZOB organization. They asked us they need couriers between the fighting group and the buildings. The ZOB have broken through in cellars between buildings so that you could travel great part of the ghetto without going outside, just between buildings. Also, you could do it on a roof before they started bombing it and burning the houses. So we agreed, of course, to it. And what they said, just stay on the roof and watch what's happening. Are the Germans surrounding the walls? That means another action is coming. Is the Polish police, where is any concentration of the guards, Ukrainian or Latvians, or of the SS German? And so that's how we got involved in it. But we were too young, and there was no weapons to give it to us. You know, there was such a scarcity, but the weapons and bullets that they wouldn't waste on amateurs, kids like us. You know, so they had the older ones.
Now, besides giving information on German movements, did you do anything else for the resistance?
Yes, we brought food where we could find it in the bunkers to them. They asked us, they needed bandages, they need disinfectants, iodine and things for it. There was no medicine per se, but that was the basic things for wounded. We would carry that through. We would carry clothing for them, all the menial courier jobs. But mainly, we were watchdogs, watching out continuously on the shifts. Are the Germans starting something in our area? Watching the gates, watching the walls. Are they assembling? Because they first started ringing up the ghetto with guards before an action. That was a sign that something going to start.
And where were you when the uprising in April begins?
In fact, I was asleep. One of the three of us had a guard duty, and he woke us up and said, in the morning, must have been like 6 in the morning, the light was just coming out, that the ghetto is surrounded, that something going to start. And we pass on, we ran to the group, which was a couple streets away, couple blocks away, and told them there is something happening. There is an assembly around the ghetto. Looks like an action going to start. We see a lot of military men, soldiers, Ukrainians, because they wore different uniforms. Brown uniforms for the Latvians, black uniforms for the Ukrainians, and green uniforms for the SS. So he says there are a lot of them in Polish police in navy uniforms. Something going to start. And they already, by the way, knew it. Another courier group told them also that from other parts that is happening.
Now, after the 22nd, and we knew what's going on, where they go, to Treblinka, to that, so buy. But the Poles didn't want to sell us. The army, the Polish army. We paid for one revolver $3,000 to $5,000. For one bullet, $10. Now, during the main or so-called resettlement, there was a very complicated political situation in the Warsaw Ghetto. because there were so many parties. And the Zionist right and left and revisionist, they couldn't get together. But on the 28th, they formed, somehow they came together and they formed 22 groups. One was called ZOB, the Jewish Fighting Organization, and the other one was called Irgun Tzvai Leumi. This was the revisionist, which were the followers of Jabotinsky and Trumpeldor. So what was the main thing now? Buy arms, because the ZOB had 700 people and Tzvai Leumi had 300. I could have thousands of young people, but there were no arms. The Polish government in London at that time sent us 50 revolvers with munition, 50 hand grenades, and 4 kilograms of explosive. We bought 4,000 on the Aryan side for money, 4,000 liters of gasoline. So when the tanks attack it, we'll burn it. Now, we trained the youngsters. As I said, we were preparing ourselves to fight. The underground, the 700 and the 300, they were trained. But what? We didn't have any guns, any, what do you call it? These guns,
rifles?
With sticks. Huh?
With some bayonets and rifles.
Rifles. We didn't have rifles. So they trained with sticks. So there was a bunker. In every building, there was a bunker where people had to hide in case of a new action, and there was a physician assigned to every bunker. I had 70 or 80 people in the bunker assigned to my bunker from my building. And, unforgettable, the first night of Pesach, the first Seder. But before I tell you about this, we had spies, Jewish spies on the Aryan side. And the German knew that they won't get us out so simple. They'll have to fight. And they told us how they prepared, the German, what they had against us is 2,000 SS soldiers. Listen to this, 3 detachments of artillery, 1,000 of German police, 1,000 of Polish police, and 1,000 of Ukrainians, Lithuanians, Latvians, and Estonians in the black uniforms, the supporting police. Against them, we were 700 in the Jewish Fighting Organization and 300 in the other organization. But the Germans knew we won't come easy. And on the first Seder, on April 19th, 1943, we get a note calls from the other side, the Germans are surrounding the ghetto. So immediately, everybody went to the bunkers, and me, I had some medicine. What medicine did I have? Aspirin and nothing else. And some material, for wounds. And all the soldiers went to their posts. And on the 19th in the morning, I show you on my drawing there, through the Muranowska gate, next to the Umstrauplatz, a platoon of German soldiers came through the Muranowska street into the ghetto and went to the Muranowska square, singing, the northern people, the Obermenschen, Supermenschen, singing, happy. Now, when they came on the Muranowska street, there were 2 buildings there with flags. One Jewish flag with the Magen David, and one Polish flag. The Jewish boys knew that every bullet has to kill. Otherwise, they won't come out. So when they stopped singing and standing there on the Muranowska square, they came under fire. And it was hell for them because so many fell. They threw their guns and they ran away. Now, every piece of arms, every revolver, every gun, every submachine guns were collected. That's how the how the underground got submachine guns. There was not one was only in the whole ghetto. And uniforms, everything was collected. 2 tanks went on Muranowska Street, on Zamenhof Street, also from Muranowska Gate, on Zamenhof Street, I show it to you, to Mila 8. And there they were waiting for them, 2 tanks. They threw the Molotov cocktails on them and burned 2 tanks. So the Germans left. They were scared. They left the ghetto. And they knew they can't fight just on open streets. So they sent planes, and the planes started to bomb us.
And I was walking on the streets. And the whole city was in flame, because the whole city was burning. So many blocks, not one, so many blocks. And I looked at these blocks. But the worst thing for me was the Easter Sunday, when I was in the church, listening to all the sermons of the priest, and I blend in with them together. And I came out. The priest was standing in the front, greeting all the parishioners. And they were dressed in their best clothing on Sunday. Most of them took their children to their carousel, which was with music, which was around that. You could see with the naked eye what was going on in the ghetto, the flames and the burning, everything. And you were just listening to the expressions, Jews are burning, not burning. Jews are żytkie smażą. Jews are frying. I was in that environment of the people. Until today I cannot understand where did I take the strength not to scream, not to reveal who I am. That I look at my people burning and I cannot say anything. And here the carousel is running. The people are on the carousel with the parents happy.
One evening we were relaxing in one of the apartments on the ground floor, and 2 super officers ran in. We managed to hide us under the beds, and we captured them. We disarmed them, took their uniforms down. In the meantime, we were contacted by the central ghetto, with Paul Franklin's this headquarters, which was my headquarters too, that they have to withdraw. They are withdrawing, so you'll be notified. Fight as long as you can, and the help will come to you. And we fought till Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday we went down to, somebody came to contact us, so we started to move down to the sewer. We had a underground channel to the sewer, and we were moving out. We walked 5 hours in the sewer. We went down with 28 people. We came out 6. Because the others were drowned in the sewer. They were throwing poison gas. People were drowning. We came out 6. So we marched, like I said, 5 or 6 hours in the sewer. Men down with 2 sticks, chasing the water rats. And we came out on the outskirts of Warsaw and Wolska. It was an outskirt. And we were transported to a forest out of Warsaw, Michalin.
Who helped you?
That was from the Polish underground.
Daka. So I was involved in that, in the uprising in Warsaw Ghetto. And I was assigned, a few more boys, to organize all ammunition. If one of them get killed, our boys or the German, I should be able to recover the ammunition and bring it back. Because I was fast and quick, and then give it them, you know. And so that's what I was doing. When the tanks came in, got burned up in half a truck, Germans got shot, I jumped on them, took away the guns, took away the helmet, the knife.
Were you hurt at all?
Huh?
Were you hurt at all?
I was not hurt, and few of them still was alive, you know, the Nazis crying not to kill me, not to kill me. They took it away, everything. And
where'd you take the weapons back to? Where did you take the weapons?
To our people. And I took one helmet away. Never forget that. I wouldn't give it. I want to wear that helmet. I scratched that swastika and I put a David star on it. Boy, I was proud. I thought we won the war. I'm not kidding. The General Stroop, the no good Mamze, he sent one after another one. We were fighting street by street. What can I tell you? People that set the Warsaw Ghetto fire, like inferno. Everything was burning. People who didn't even took part in that uprising were hidden in the buildings, build rooms. They jumped from the windows, you know. Outside, you could see a window, but when you come into the building, was built in, people make like bunkers, you know, closed in, hidden. People been jumping from the balconies. People been jumping from the windows. They've been born in the streets. What can I tell you, honey? You would believe it. The whole city, I thought the whole world is burning. In my young mind, I said, my gosh, well, that's going to be. Everything is in a fire, you know. Burning, people jumping. Then they came in with tanks, too, again. And bomb cannons, every building after they set a fire, the Warsaw Ghetto. There was still going on sporadic fighting, not much, you know. And the April, you know, and first May, bad was. They really give us a whipping. A lot of them ran away to the outside the ghetto.
A lot of the Jews ran away from the ghetto?
To the partisan. And I think they caught me May the 5th, almost to the end. They caught me. Didn't caught me there. We were in the sewer, you know. And they started throwing in gas they were talking about in the sewer. I don't remember if it was gas, and some older people, we were just boys, some older people told us to take some of the clothes off and use urine, and put on the nose so we could breathe, you know. I did what they told me. I did not know medical technology or anything about that. What is good or not, I did what they told us, and before you know, they were screaming and hollering. Even they got some Jews who they captured, and they've been hollering, screaming, come out, don't be scared, there's not nobody here, you know, and all that stuff, you know. Some of them we didn't listen, and some of them we just got out.
And you were saying that you were running in the sewer.
Yeah, when I was running in the sewer, we came out the sewer.
Were you still in the ghetto when you came out of the sewer?
SS told us we were, I know where we were. We were between Nalewki and Miller Street. We got out, he told us to keep your hands up, SS. Young SS, mean bastards. Told us to sit down, with the feet crossed, with the hands up. There must have been maybe 15 of us. Was one young lady, and she was wearing, never forget, a big long leather coat, and the young man too. And the SS turned on and say, he must be that Ufira. She mustn't see the altar on it. You must be the leader to that girl. He shot her on the spot.
Do you know her name?
Huh? No. And they shot that young man on the spot. You must be the leader. Two of them, right on the spot. And you hold that machine gun, trigger happy, and interrogate every one of them. He came to me and said, "What you been doing in the sewer? How many Germans did you kill?" I said, "I don't know how to shoot, officer. I'm just a kleiner Wursch. Ich bin sehr klein. Ich habe niemand gehabt eine Waffe. I never had a gun." He said to me, "Sie sprechen sehr gut Deutsch." "Oh, haben Sie Deutsch gelernt?" I said, "My people came from Germany." "But you're not a German. You are Jude." I said, "Jawohl, I'm a Jude. Jawohl. That's what I want to get straight. You're not a German. You are Jude." I said, "Jawohl. Yeah, ich bin eine Jude." And he held that machine gun. I thought he's going to shoot me. He held that machine gun and sprayed that bullets right by our feet. I thought he really, I've seen that's it. He's going to shoot us all. Young SS, young fella. Couple more goons, every one of them starting to shoot. Trigger happy.
Was anyone killed or hurt?
No, just the two, that girl and that boy. He shot them right on the spot. And I had a watch, a golden watch with a change. Give it to me. And it was not mine, in the war, the family grandfathers, and give you gold different places to distribute this. And in my own mind, I thought about, I kept my hands up on my head, and with one hand I took that watch out and put it on the ground, and put back my hand, and I dig a little bitty hole and buried that watch on the ground. I didn't want him to find the watch with me because he shot the two people, leaders, I figure he might think I wear a watch, I must be a leader something too. And then they brought in a couple more Jews from somewhere. And they put us on a truck and took us to Umschlagplatz. That's when I went to Treblinka.